And it's time for our Mohawk movie review with Dana Han-Klein. And again, she has the nicest Mohawk I have ever seen. So we decided we would rate our movies 0 to 5, 0 being the least desirable and 5 being the best.
So this week I have Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, which is a new film in the wizarding world of Harry Potter. It's a prequel, sort of. It's based on a fictional textbook that J.K. Rowling wrote for charity a while back. She wrote it as this character, Newt Scamander, and it's referenced in the books. And you might ask yourself, like, how do you build a plot for a movie on a fake textbook that has no actual plot to it? The answer is you get J.K. Rowling to write her first screenplay. So pretty much nothing I say probably is going to stop Harry Potter fans and general audiences from seeing this movie. Like, let's just be honest about this. But I enjoyed it, which is a good thing because I'm a really big Harry Potter fan. I didn't go with the highest of expectations because, again, I was like, how are they going to do this? What's going to happen? And I think that helps immensely. So I would encourage you all to just sort of go in with like an open mind. Eddie Redmayne is Newt Scamander, who is a magizoologist, which just means he deals with magic creatures. I think he's a great actor, but he has played the same character in the last however many films, and I would love to see him play something else. And we're going to overlook Jupiter Ascending, where he tried to play something else and was just like, it was the most atrocious thing.
Typecasting.
Typecasting, but like he's great at it, but my friend called it Eddie Redmayne fatigue. The film takes place in 1926 in New York, which is cool, roaring 20s. They did a really great job of building out New York. And it was nice because we haven't seen, if you know the Harry Potter films, we haven't seen any other countries or cultures. You like get a taste of it sometimes in the fourth book with the Triwizard Tournament. Yes, I'm a super nerd. But this was cool because it's America. It's New York. You might want to say, again, how do you have a plot? And I'm going to say nothing about this plot because I don't want people like cursing my name from afar because I think people would be upset if I spoiled any of it. I will say it's not a perfect film by far, but I did enjoy it. One of my favorite things, which I can talk about, is that we have our first sort of muggle or nomad, as they're called in America, and it's just like the worst name. I just think it's like so hard. It evokes weird imagery, but they're a non-magical protagonist, and he's played by Dan Fogler, who was just like super charming and likable, and I think he's going to have like a great career after. I mean, he has a very successful career, but I think this is just going to push him into sort of a new level of awareness. They are making a 5-film series out of this, and before going into it again, I was like, how are you going to get one film out of this? But leaving it, I was like, oh, I am very excited to see where they go. We are definitely going to be exploring a lot of very cool things, and it was nice because I wasn't comparing it to a book, because if you read the books, you've seen all the, and you see the movies, you're just comparing it one for one. Obviously, if you are not familiar with the Harry Potter universe, this is a fine movie to go see. Doesn't really matter. It's just a new movie. If you are familiar with it, if you're a Potterhead, you can still, there's a ton of stuff for you, and you'll go, ooh, and ah, at some points, and the person next to you will just kind of go like, what are you doing right now? Stop nerding out. I'm also kind of reticent to bring politics into it, but J.K. Rowling has always written good versus evil very well, and sort of the triumph of the underdog, and I feel like a lot of people need that right now. So I think that combined with, a general sense of like, ooh and ah and wizardry, like, it was a good film. I enjoyed it.
What is your rating?
I'm going to give it 4. 4 out of 5.
Wow, that's
cool.
a good one.
Yeah, it's not perfect, but it was just like, you know what? I wanted to enjoy the film, and I enjoyed the film.
It looks like it's a lot of fun. So.
Yes. My other film this week is The Edge of 17. This is basically a John Hughes film, but with texting and Snapchat and stuff, and an R rating, which I'll point out. It stars Hailee Steinfeld, whom you might know from True Grit, Pitch Perfect 2, or Taylor Swift's Squad. She plays Nadine, and admittedly, this movie made me feel really old in one sense, just because it was like, oh, that's what high school is now. But at the same time, a lot of the themes are really universal, I think. Anyone who's been a teenager, which is anyone who's not a preteen listening, even if you were cool or uncool, I think there are probably parts you can relate to in this. A lot of the humor and the drama came from the relationships, which is something like we all understand as humans. And yes, there are the complications of Facebook and texting and instant info, but it's really about relationships. And again, it really just was like the plot is just straight up lifted from every John Hughes film.
They said that it's as good as Juno. Do you agree with that? Because that's so good.
I think it's different than Juno. And admittedly, I saw Juno at a time where I was younger and, might have related more. So this one, there was more of like a fishbowl effect, like looking in. But sure. I don't think it's going to stand up as well as Juno. It also isn't like Juno was very unique stylistically, and I feel like this is just a little more templated, which was fine. We haven't seen that in a while, and it seemed it done really well. For those of us who are slightly older, Woody Harrelson's in it, and he plays her teacher, and he's great in everything. And I think he brings sort of maturity and humor to it. And Kira Sedgwick is her mother, and she's just. If you have mother issues, this movie's going to get to you. And I'm going to give this film one really random compliment, but there's finally like a very attractive leading Asian character, like a male character, and the role has nothing to do with him being Asian. I know that sounds really weird, but it was just something I noticed. I was like, oh, that's nice. That's like, I'm sick of seeing just like, oh, this is a stereotype. So I thought the film did a good job of like building places where it, breaking stereotypes in like very subtle ways. So I wanted to compliment it on that.
I just want to say quickly, have you ever seen the John Oliver segment about all the people? It was a fake commercial that were white playing Asians in movies throughout the year.
I haven't, but
hilarious.
I'm sure it would have like made my blood boil.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what minority. It was just nice. So it was like, hey, this is just like a role. You're a leading role. But I laughed at the film. I cringed. There were actually some really heartfelt moments. There's a lot of stuff about family in it, and it felt like it was like a decent use of my time, which is how I judge movies. Do I come out of it like not regretting the time I've spent there? So because it was very well written and like very smart at points, I'm actually going to give it 4.1.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a good weekend for movies.
Exactly. I'm so excited. We're finally seeing good movies again.
I love that. It's getting closer and closer to Oscar time, so some good stuff's coming out.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's Dana Han-Klein with the Mohawk Movie Review. She'll be back with us next Friday. And thanks so much for joining us here mornings on KFOG.
Yay.